Hi, I'm Mark Cunningham with Grace Property Management and Real Estate. I want to talk to you for a few moments about the 4 most common mistakes we see people make when they're looking to hire a property management company. I had a call last week from a potential client, property management client. He was looking to hire a new company because his current company did such an awful job. And as we talked a little bit, I discovered, which I so often do, and I talk to those people every single week, that if he would have done his research a little bit more thoroughly on the front end, he could have avoided so many of these headaches and hassles he's now facing. And it's a tough thing to do, to figure out how to select a property management company. I own a property in another state. I recently had to go find a property management company to manage this property. It was tough. It was tough for me as a property management professional to figure out who I was going to hire. So here are the 4 things that are common mistakes you want to avoid. Number 1 is people don't ask the right questions. You call a property management company, you don't know what to ask, so you just let them kind of tell you how great they are. Don't do that. Let them give you their information, but here's a couple specific, unique questions you want to ask. Number 1, what is your lease renewal rate? Did you know the biggest expense you will face as a property owner is turnover? If someone has a turnover rate of 50%, versus 75% versus 25%, what's that going to do to your bottom line? The industry average for lease renewals is about 50%. That means when your leases come up for renewal, potentially 50% of your tenants are going to be moving over the course of time. You want to minimize that turnover. You want to find a property management company that can average a 75% renewal rate. It's tough to do, but there are companies out there that do that. Second question is, what's your eviction rate? Collecting rent is one of the most difficult parts of what we do. If you can have a low eviction rate, what that means is the company is doing a very good job on the front end of qualifying people to only bring good applicants and tenants into your property. And number 2, they're doing a very good job on the collection side of things, the accounting side of things, to get the money from the tenant. You want a very, very low eviction rate. The industry average for property management companies is about 5%. That means out of 100 properties, 5 of those are probably going to be evicted during the course of a year. You want to look for a company that has a much lower eviction rate than even 5%. That's your goal. Third great question is, what's your average response time? This is a question that most companies won't be able to answer because they'll just say, well, we're fast, we respond quickly. Well, what is it? Do you have a standard for your industry? If I drop you an email as an owner, how quickly will you get back to me? How quickly can I expect a response time? How quickly can my tenants expect a response time? Those are just 3 questions to ask. We've got a free doc on our website you can download. It's called 20 Questions to Ask a Property Management Company, because you want to find a good company. Second most common mistake is people don't do their research, and we just don't know how. How do we research a company? Well, I would say number 1, start with Google. That's going to give you independent, honest reviews of the property management company. One of the things you'll want to look for and read are the negative reviews on that company, because you almost want to see a few negative reviews, maybe from ex-tenants that are mad because their security deposit didn't get totally returned to them. You're going to probably find a few of those, and that's not a bad thing for you as the property owner. All that means is the property management company is doing their job in enforcing the rules of the lease. But Google reviews are unbiased. We can't control them as the company, so that's a great place to read reviews, and read them by both owners as well as tenants. Go to the Better Business Bureau. Look and see how many complaints have been filed against any property management company over the course of time. Also check their licensing. Go to the Colorado Real Estate Commission, find out have there been any formal complaints filed against these property management companies. Those are 3 easy ways to do some research on a company. The third biggest mistake is we see people over-focusing on cost. If a prospective owner calls me, the first thing they say is, well, what do you charge? Well, what I charge and what somebody else charges may be completely different based upon the quality of service we're providing. Now, you don't want to overpay. You need to be very cautious and be very careful on what you're paying. But if you only focus on a low front-end cost, that can potentially impact you in the long run. So some companies, and price structures are all over the place. Some companies have a monthly flat fee. Some companies are just a percentage of the income they collect. You want to find out what that is, but also find out what you're getting for that. I talked to a gentleman not too long ago who had a very, very low management fee he was paying, and he was happy to go with this company. But what he found out is that fee only got him a certain amount of time based in hours per month of management services. And once he eclipsed that time, they started charging very high, exorbitant hourly rates for the services they were providing. You don't want that. You either want to find somebody that just charges a percentage of the income. The more money they make you, the more money they make themselves. That's what I think is the best model that way. But focus on cost. You want to find a good property management company that's going to increase your rental rates beyond what you could do, and they're going to decrease your costs beyond what you could do. And in that spread of increased rents, lower cost, that property management company should be paying for themselves. So the net effect to you as an owner should basically be nothing. The third thing what I see is owners don't read the fine print of the management agreement. Watch for things that are in there. One of the biggest things you want to be aware of is this: how can you get out of the agreement if you change your mind? Most property management companies have a 12-month term. That's a long time to be forced to do business with a company if you change your mind for any reason on day 2, week 2, or month 2. But if you do change your mind, ask them, look, I like you guys, I would like to do business with you, but if things don't work out, if I change my mind 2 months from now, how can I get out of this contract? And are there penalties, termination fees? What you want to find is a company that you can trust and that is confident enough in their ability to earn your business every day. And if you don't find that they're doing the job for you, it's easy for you to walk away. When we bring on a new client, sometimes they come from other property management companies. And one of the questions they always ask is, well, how do I get out of my current agreement and come over to you? And I have them send over the agreement to me, and I'm surprised and constantly shocked at some of the penalties, fees that these companies charge to walk away from the agreement. It's just not right. So find that out on the front end. If I don't like doing business with you for any reason, Mr. Company, how can I walk away? And is it going to cost me anything? And the answer to that should hopefully be no. Property management is all about trust. You are literally handing someone the keys to the front door of probably your biggest investment. So be very, very cautious. And here's a final tip. When you call that company, ask, you know what, if I decide not to hire you, I like you, but if I decide not to hire you, who else would you recommend? Who's the second best company out there? Ask a property management company that, because we're all going to say we're the best, of course. But ask me, ask somebody else who the second best company is. Call a couple of different companies, do your research. But you want to do the research on the front end, because you will find that by doing so, you will avoid so many headaches and pitfalls going forward. Have a great day.